Hi, Mr. Hernandez. This is Sara Kim from your A-Block, and this screencast is about the Battle of Wilderness. Before the Wilderness Battle, there was a series of successive Confederate victories. The solution that President Lincoln came up with was to appoint a new general because he attributed the Union failures to indecision and lack of aggression amongst his generals. Lincoln decided to appoint Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant as supreme commander of the Union Army because he was impressed by Grant's successes in the Western theater. At the time, the general of the Confederate Army was Robert E. Lee. The Union's General Ulysses Grant was 42 years old when he fought the battle, and he raised spirit of the Union Army as a new general. The Confederacy's general, Robert E. Lee, was 57 years old, and he had a history of declining Lincoln's offer to be the Union's general in 1861. For the Union at the time, Lincoln thought that the priority should be the destruction of the Confederate Army rather than the taking of Richmond. He believed that once the army was defeated, Richmond would have no option but to surrender. Grant boosted the number of troops he had available to nearly double the amount available to the Confederate Army under General Robert E. Lee. He realized that it might take much longer to gain total victory and knew his resources could last longer than those of the Confederates. His mindset, therefore, was to engage the enemy at every possible opportunity, regardless of the cost. For the Confederacy, Lee had been anticipating the more aggressive approach that Grant was likely to take, and had given careful consideration to how the Union general was likely to initiate his campaign. The Union engaged 101,895 men, and the Confederacy engaged 61,025 men in the battle. Here's a timeline. 1864, May 5th, 1 p.m., Grant ordered his corps to attack Saunders Field. 3 p.m., the Confederate Army repulsed. At 4 p.m., the Confederate Army counterattacked along Orange Plank Road, but repulsed by the Union. On May 6, 11 a.m., Union attacked the Brock Road and almost breaks the Confederate defense. However, at 5 p.m., the Confederate reinforcement corps arrived and counterattacked, but is repulsed. At 6 p.m., the Confederate Army attacked Saunders Field, but was repulsed. The battle ended because the fires burned through the forest on May 7th. The result of the battle was inconclusive. Unlike other commanders of the Union Army before him, Grant pursued the fight, marching his troops towards Spotsylvania in another battle with General Lee. Here's a map analysis. At 1 p.m., May 5th, the Union Army, represented in blue, attacked Saunders Field, right there, but was repulsed at 3 p.m. by the Confederacy, represented in red. At 4 p.m., the Confederacy attacked along Orange Plank Road, which was repulsed. The next day at 11 a.m., the Union attacks along Brock Road and almost wins, but the Confederate reinforcements arrived and counterattacked. At 6 p.m., the Confederacy attacked the Union at Saunders Field again, but was resisted. Fighting had to stop when the fires burned through the dense forest. The primary source I found for this battle is a lithograph called Battle of the Wilderness by Kirsten Allison, were a major publisher of chromolithographs in the 19th century. The artwork shows the gruesome scene of the battle and the thick woods very well, and can be trusted to be an accurate visual representation because the artist published a lot of other Civil War battle lithographs too, in a time period that was very close to the battles. Grant's tactics resulted in the Union Army suffering many more casualties than the Confederates did. In total, 2,246 Union soldiers died, 12,037 were wounded, and 3,383 were taken prisoner or missing. On the Confederate side, 1,495 troops were killed, 7,928 were wounded, and 1,702 were taken prisoner or missing. The result of the battle was inconclusive. The Battle of the Wilderness marked the end of the Confederate rebellion. While neither side was clear winners in the battle, the new strategy adopted by Grant was enough to ensure that the Union Army will eventually overcome the Confederates. Once again, Lee had demonstrated his skill as a master tactician and managed to survive a battle he was seriously outnumbered in. However, he found it difficult to replace men and keep supplies coming to his army, whereas this was never a problem to Grant, who essentially had unlimited resources. This is a works cited page, and thank you for watching my screencast.